In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use the two new flower and leaf dies from John Next Door. So that's the JND439 Eucalyptus leaves and the JND444 bubble flower. And the bubble flower has been designed to match with the bubble frame. And you can see here a couple of cards that we've got made using that. And these have been used in one of the video demonstrations if you want to see how those cards are made. But this one, I just wanted to show you how we actually make quite a simple card just like this. And I have actually used the JND443 bubbles frame without using any of the bubble inserts to do this, and there's actually a sneaky peek of a new embossing folder at the back there, but just to make a beautiful frame, because this is a frame it die, and even the circle on this has come from that die set. But we're going to concentrate on how to make these beautiful flowers, and you can see the sheen and the shine that you get from those because we've used fusion inks is just amazing. So we're going to start with our leaves. These are our eucalyptus leaves. So here I've got a piece of Craft Artist Essential card, and this is in apple colour. And all I want to do is just arrange my leaves quite simply. It doesn't matter how you do this. You can use this as a stencil if you want to, but you'll see you've sort of got a large and then you've got a small and a mini of these, and I'm just spacing them out equally to make sure they don't touch each other in the die cut machine, and pop some tape on. Always tape dies like this small down. If you don't do that, you will actually find that they will move and they will cut each other and sort of damage the die. It's the only way to damage a die is by not accurately taping them down. So I've got made sure these are taped down. These are going to go onto my plates, and these will fit through all of your die cutting machines. And I'm simply going to run that off air through my Kaleido, as the next step is something we do with a fresh die cut. So I'm just running them forward and back to cut. And again, these will fit through any machine. Sorry, all you're actually watching at the moment is my elbow. So what we do need to do next is to bring back in the eucalyptus leaves plate, or you would need to use a magnetic piece on this. And all I'm going to do is carefully just slide the die onto the board. If any dies like this slip out, you can simply pop them back in and drop them back into the space. If that doesn't work, as it doesn't sometimes, don't worry, because it won't matter. It's usually only the small ones that do it. And you want to remove all of the tape, making sure you'll keep your dies in place. And the reason that we do this onto a magnet is that the dies want to stay where they are. As you can see, they won't move from that magnetic sheet, so it makes it a little bit easier. I'm then simply going to bring in some of the fusion ink, and this time I'm using the gold fusion in lime, so I get that beautiful pearl and gold effect. I'm going to take one of the daubers and simply rub over the top of the leaves through the space. So I'm colouring through. The smaller ones don't colour as much, but the large ones get a beautiful effect. And I'm just holding the edge of the die so it doesn't slip completely, but the magnet helps a lot with that. So we'll just go through like this. And these have been designed so that the lines on there will give you that sort of two-tone look you get with eucalyptus leaves. So if you use a very dark green and use perhaps the white fusion on there, you'll get a really nice look through that. So there we go. For these little ones that have escaped, I can just, in the air, add a little bit of the green on, so they've got that they're tying in, but you can see just doing that, they look so much more realistic. So all we then have to do, peel that off, take our dies off and pop them back down to our magnetic sheet. And you'll see here, they're almost like sort of peacock feathers in a way, these, but it really gives you that true sort of eucalyptus look. As you can see there with the large ones, the shading through really gives us a different look. And it's very, very simple to do. Even on the smaller ones, although there's not a lot of space, you're still getting that little bit touched with the two-tone. And it's always been a very two-tone leaf. So again, you can carefully wipe your dies down. I tend not to. I just pop them down and use them again. So there are our leaves done. So we have our two sort of large, our two small, and our two sort of mini ones there to make our arrangement. So now I want to do the flower, and we're doing exactly the same piece to the flower as we actually did before. So what you want to do, and I'm going to show you this when using the flower plates, remember we cut a piece of A4 card in half, or a piece of A5 card, to 5 3/4. We simply then go back in and cut it the other way to 4 1/8. And that gives us 2 pieces exactly sized, equidistant, to cut our flowers from. And that works for any of the John Next Door flower plates. Simply add a little bit of tape. And again, we'll run that through the machine. And I am going to run that through the machine whilst I'm doing the video live, so that you can, again, you need to do this as it's live. Now, for this one, I don't really need to use the board as much, but you can do. So I'm just running that through, forward and back, and cut it. And again, this will fit through all leading die cutting machines. Check on the back, there's a lot on here that it's been cut. I often find that this little one here doesn't cut as well, so sometimes I have to sort of double shim that. But that's because I packed so much onto the plate, and it all depends on your machine. So we'll take that one out. See, now everything's cut nicely. And again, I'm going to take the magnetic sheet and just drop that on. It gives me that little bit more stability. And this time, to actually colour these, I'm going to be using one of the new Pearl Fusion, which is Fusion FX, which stands for effects effectively. And this is yellow with yellow pearl. Instead of being a normal pearl, it has a beautiful sort of darker yellow pearl on dark colours. These have been designed to work on dark colours. So these will work like red, these will work on your blacks, your navies, your blues, whereas your normal pearls are designed for white. So just make sure you take the tape off. If you don't, you will get a void. That's why I love having the pink tape, even though I still forgot on that one. So I'm just colouring through there. And I will simply then peel that off. And sometimes they'll stick in the die, and sometimes they'll stick onto the card. So to pop it out of the card, I simply ease that out. There we go. Just use my pokey tool, and you see you get the beautiful centre, which just has that little dip of colour into it. So we'll take those out. Nice and simple, and do exactly the same with our die, but make sure you go around the edge and then press in the middle. If you just press in the middle, you're likely to push your pokey tool through your card, which is not the best way. So we'll take all of those out. I've actually got all of these pieces already cut, just to speed up the video a little bit. So we can see here, I have them all cut in yellow, and I also have them cut in white. And that allows me to have that beautiful two-tone look. And I'm simply going to use glue glaze to put them together. So I'm going to put glue glaze in the middle of one of each of the white flowers, and there's 4 in the set, and glue glaze in the middle of each of one set of each of the yellow flowers. And I'm then going to pick up a yellow and rotate it round, pick up a white and rotate it onto the yellow, and that way I get 2 contrasting colours. So we're just going to pop those down. There we go. And a white onto a yellow, a white onto a yellow, and a yellow onto the white. There we go. And then the final one, white on the yellow, yellow on the white. And all I've done with the centerpieces is simply pop those onto the blue flower foam. So this is the blue moulding foam from Craft Artist or Crafts 2. Take that, take the ball tool that comes with it, it's the larger end, and just scribble in the middle, which cups that absolutely perfectly. So to finish our flowers off, I'm going to take some of the Craft Artist Dewdrops in clear, And just make sure you've got all of those down flat onto their backs. There is a domed area and it's a lot easier to have them laid out right first. So we're simply going to take the glue glaze and pop some of that into the center of each of those flowers. Nice and easy. And again, we're going to rotate. So white center in the middle with yellow on the top, yellow center on the one with white. So white on yellow, yellow on white, yellow on white, white on yellow, white on yellow, yellow on white. And again, I'm going to go back in then with our glue glaze and simply add a dot in. Now, when you're sticking dewdrops down, I would always use glue glaze. You can use your normal PVA glue, but it will take up to 24 hours to dry as it's a water-based product. So it means that for a good 24 hours, your centers will not be dry. And what will happen then is that they will stay white in the center until you've literally finished. So just picking these up and popping them in the center of each flower. Just like that. So there we have our flowers made, and then all I would do, you can see why I talk about them gluing quickly. I want to be able to manipulate them straight away, which is why I use the glue glaze. I simply lift up all of the alternate petals, which gives me that beautiful, easily made two-tone look and dimension. So we have our flowers there. So I've got a few here already made. So we'll use those and we'll pop that to one side. And I'm simply going to bring back in my card blank, again with a top fold. And I'm going to use my Craft Artist Super Tacky Glue to glue these down. So your leaves, again, you'll find will go left and right, as they always do from me. So I'm going to go from the middle and bring it out to the edge of the frame. Again, from the middle and bring it out to the edge of the frame. And it gives you the perfect spray. And then it's simply a case of adding my flowers on. So you can add these round however you want to. I've got 3 quite large ones here. I've just slid that under the leaf. And I like to go with odd numbers, so I like to go sort of 3 or 5 or 7. And there we've got our beautiful flowers. And all I do then with the extra foliage is to tuck them in to make it look more realistic. So anywhere I think there's a little gap, like there, I will tuck one in. There's a gap here. So again, a little bit of glue. And I tuck that in. And our little sprigs just go into where our flowers are. So our leaves are coming over, so it doesn't look as if it's just all one tone. So we'll tuck those in just like that. And there's our simple, easy, finished card. And again, to add a little bit more detail, you can see on the original here, I've just added some of the dewdrops to add a little bit more interest, but you could just put a sentiment into there and you're done. An easy way, an easy card to make, but easy ways to decorate both the new eucalyptus and bubble flowers. For more ideas, hints, tips and inspiration, why not visit the Crafting with John next door and Crafts 2 group on Facebook. Enjoy.